All right, we still continue to have our high risk for severe weather. On Friday, the cities in that risk: Memphis, St. Louis, Peoria, Quad Cities. So it's a pretty large area. Now, there's a huge area that is under at least some risk. And when you kind of add the population up of at least having some risk, you're talking about 67 million Americans under the threat of severe weather. 84 in Dallas, so all of this warmth getting jammed northward. And we're going to see moisture. Let me show you our moisture content tool. This is looking at the moisture through the entire depth of the atmosphere. I want you to concentrate on this yellow and orange. This is where you have a Gulf inflow or moisture coming north. Watch this as we go through this evening. Isolated severe thunderstorms in the southern plains here this afternoon.
1. Jesus turns water into wine at the wedding in Cana.
2. Jesus heals an official's son at Capernaum in Galilee.
3. Jesus drives out an evil spirit from a man in Capernaum.
4. Jesus heals Peter's mother-in-law sick with fever.
5. Jesus heals many sick and oppressed at evening.
6. First miraculous catch of fish on the lake of Gennesaret.
7. Jesus cleanses a man with leprosy.
8. Jesus heals a centurion's paralyzed servant in Capernaum.
9. Jesus heals a paralytic who was let down from the roof.
10. Jesus heals a man's withered hand on the Sabbath.
11. Jesus raises a widow's son from the dead in Nain.
12. Jesus calms a storm on the sea.
13. Jesus casts demons into a herd of pigs.
14. Jesus heals a woman in the crowd with an issue of blood.
15. Jesus raises Jairus' daughter back to life.
16. Jesus heals two blind men.
17. Jesus heals a man who was unable to speak.
18. Jesus heals an invalid at Bethesda.
19. Jesus feeds 5,000 plus women and children.
20. Jesus walks on water.
21. Jesus heals many sick in Gennesaret as they touch his garment.
22. Jesus heals a Gentile woman's demon-possessed daughter.
23. Jesus heals a deaf and dumb man.
24. Jesus feeds 4,000 plus women and children.
25. Jesus heals a blind man at Bethsaida.
26. Jesus heals a man born blind by spitting in his eyes.
27. Jesus heals a boy with an unclean spirit.
28. Miraculous temple tax in a fish's mouth.
29. Jesus heals a blind, mute demoniac.
30. Jesus heals a woman who had been crippled for 18 years.
31. Jesus heals a man with dropsy on the Sabbath.
32. Jesus cleanses 10 lepers on the way to Jerusalem.
33. Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead in Bethany.
34. Jesus restores sight to Bartimaeus in Jericho.
35. Jesus withers the fig tree on the road from Bethany.
36. Jesus heals a servant's severed ear while he is being arrested.
37. The second miraculous catch of fish at the Sea of Tiberias.
Who hit you? Guess.
Prophesy. Who'll hit you next?
Stop it! Stop it, I said. Bring him before the council. Move!
Tell us, are you the Messiah?
If I tell you, you will not believe me. And if I ask you a question, you will not answer me. But from now on, the Son of Man will be seated at the right side of Almighty God.
Are you then the Son of God?
You say that I am.
Who gives him the authority to break all that? Guilty.
We ourselves have heard what he said.
The company of soldiers gathered around him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him. They twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head. Putting a staff in his right hand, they knelt in front of him and mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. Then they led him away to crucify him.
The way that Peter was crucified was peculiar. His cross was hung upside down. Church tradition holds that Peter was assassinated by Emperor Nero in 64 AD, following the Great Fire of Rome, which he famously blamed on Christians. Acts of Peter, a 2nd century apocryphal text, was the first to claim Peter was crucified upside down, allegedly because he did not consider himself worthy of dying the same death as Jesus. Andrew. Although the tradition's source isn't as reliable, it is told that Peter's brother Andrew died similarly. As per the tradition, around 60 AD, Andrew was martyred by crucifixion in the Greek city of Patras. Andrew was bound, not nailed, to a cross hung in an X shape rather than a T, because like his brother Peter, he didn't think he was worthy of dying in the same way as Jesus. One of only 2 apostles whose demise is mentioned in the Bible is St. James, the first of Jesus' apostles to perish for following his faith. He was slashed to death with a sword. Acts 12 tells us about his death. It was about this time that King Herod arrested some who belonged to the church, intending to persecute them. He had James, the brother of John, put to death with the sword.